Hello. Happy Thursday. It's your girl Adina here with the 11th edition of the Liberated Pussy podcast. You know, this is a conversation we do every week or so, my sister Monique and I, and we talk about things that are important for women to share and to converse about and not just bop through life like you're just on a random journey, because really we are powerful beings. We are goddesses. And to be a goddess, it means to embody goddess energy. And how do you do that in a world that tells us we're not powerful? Hey, Erica. Hey, Yvette. How y'all doing? So we just chat. There's Monique. I am to you chatting with us as well. As you know, we do something called Goddess Gathering every Thursday. We meet with women from all over the world and we do the sacred work of aligning ourselves with our goddess energy. Monique and I do this walk together. Hey, goddess. And in addition to that, we have some other beautiful offerings that are coming down the pike. Okay, so IG, everybody say abracadabra so we can get Monique in here. Abracadabra. Sometimes IG can be a little quirky, but today it's going to be fine. It's going to be beautiful. So I'll just take a sip of water because I already uttered the magic words. Are y'all staying hydrated on this? It's cold in DC. At least I've been a little chilly. I'm made for the sunshine. Let's see, Monique, come on. Okay, we're gonna do it again. All right, thank you for sending love. Thank you for sending love. I feel it. I feel it. Come on, IG. Let her in. Let her in. I can feel you all saying your magical words. Let her in. While we're waiting for Monique, I will let you know that we have released information about our first retreat that's actually going to be in Bali in July 2024. So that's backwards on the screen, but that's the flyer. And if you follow me on IG, the link is in the bio of how to join the interest call about the Goddess Technology Retreat. So not only do we do the work here on a daily basis, we have intensives where we get together and really up-level our incarnation, this lifetime together. Okay. Now hopefully this works. I accept it. Okay. Come on, IG. So like I was saying, Goddess Technology Retreat, links in bios, Goddess Gathering, which is the group that meets every week doing this work, links in bio for that. And you can DM me for information on either. Okay. Come on, Monique. Come on, IG. Let us in. Okay. Okay. It's time, Monique. Come on. Nope. What happened? Okay, I'm getting messages. Okay. So we're going to just give it a minute. We're going to give it a minute. We're going to give it a minute. Oh, yay.
Great.
Yay.
How you doing?
Oh, happy to see your face.
Yay, me too. Happy to see you. How you
I
doing?
pushed the button at least 1,000 times.
I
Like, go,
know,
go,
girl. I
go,
know.
go.
I had to set a strong intention inside of me. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
let me go away and set a strong intention and come back.
I was with you in that.
hmm
But what they say, if you push the elevator button 1,000 times, it's not going to come fast. I just kept
Right.
pushing it. I'm like, well, I'm pushing it today.
Well, it's so good to be here. What are we
Mhm.
discussing today?
We
What's
are
our conversation today?
discussing. Well, we always like to have very high level, beautiful conversations. In Goddess Gathering, we have been talking about sacred relationships, how we relate to ourselves, how we relate to our mates. And we've been talking about the challenges in upleveling.
Mm-hmm.
What are those challenges that we encounter when we're really seeking to up level from a holistic place, but we hit against these brick walls or we hit against the conditionings and things like that. So that's what we're going to chat about. But
Yeah.
before we get started, just give a brief overview, just a little sprinkling of that moon mama magic about the astrology so that we know what's affecting us as we do this work.
Oh, yes, the astrology. Who the astrology is so intense right now. So the one of the most important things that's happening right now is Mercury is getting ready to go retrograde. It goes retrograde on December 13th, and it's going to be retrograde in Capricorn. And so this is the energy. Mercury is our mind, it's how we think. And it's important to know that our thoughts are real. Like from where I stand now, I can look back at my life and I can remember countless years where I used to just allow my mind to run with whatever it wanted to do. If it wanted to think such and such as a motherfucker who ain't shit, I could spend 3 and 5, 20 days thinking about such and such as a motherfucker who ain't shit. Or if I wanted to, whatever it was, like,
Mhm,
and at
mhm,
some point in my studies, I realized that, oh, these thoughts are creating a frequency.
mhm,
These
mhm.
thoughts are not natural.
Random.
They're not.
Yeah, it's not just my own thing.
And just because I haven't said it out loud doesn't mean that they aren't real. It doesn't mean that they
Mhm,
aren't powerful.
mhm,
And so Mercury in Capricorn is about realizing, embodying the energy of your mental authority
mhm,
and really living your life as if your thoughts are real.
mhm,
So it's like, just imagine if you gave away a dollar for every thought, depending on if it
mhm,
was a negative thought. You had a negative thought, you got to pay somebody a dollar. If you have a positive thought, you get a dollar, right? Like, that's
mhm,
how powerful our thoughts are. So Mercury retrograde in Capricorn in the shadow now is about really developing our faith in ourselves, understanding that we are powerful. It's like planting a seed in the ground, like you plant a apple seed in the ground, but then you don't think it's going to grow apples, and then that tree grows, and one day apples, because you planted that there. You know what I mean? You did that, right?
mhm.
And so it's
You did that.
important that we know that our thoughts are the authority in this mental reality. Our thoughts are our authority. So we have Mercury in Capricorn, we have the sun in Sagittarius. The sun in Sagittarius is about increasing our faith in ourselves. Do we believe in ourselves? Do we trust ourselves? It's such a really profound thing as a woman. Um, and I think that many of us could agree with this, but just I feel like one of my deep uncoverings is, what do I want to say? Like, real is having faith in my connection to spirit,
Mhm,
because I've been taught that I got to have Jesus, I got to have a husband, I got to have all these things that have more power than me, that are more substantial. And what I have come to realize is that it's really the spiritual realm that has the power. The physical realm is so little of it, but yet I have given so much power to it.
So the thoughts, what we just talked about, the thoughts that we think are random are more powerful than the actual manifestation. That's what comes after. If
That's
we
right.
really understand this power, the thoughts are more powerful than your actual manifestation because that's what is creating
That's
everything
right.
that we see, everyone in our experience, everything that happens, really.
That's right. That is
Mhm.
absolutely right. And so the astrology right now is inviting us. For me, I look at astrology as a tool. I look at it as an opportunity for alignment. So the moon is in Libra, the sun is in Sagittarius. And that means, do we have the faith to be ourselves, to be true to ourselves with others?
Mm, that's a really great question. Oftentimes that requires deep courage, It
Yeah.
requires being authentic with yourself first,
Mm-hmm.
and then having the desire to share beautiful you with this other beautiful reflection of you.
Right.
How authentic do you want to be in that? Are you just bullshitting and going through the motions? Are you just playing out a role? Or are you really tapping in to what it is you desire? Do you have the courage to speak your desire? I mean, these are really beautiful, intimate questions that first you have to ask yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's something that it all takes courage, Adina. It all
Mm-hmm.
takes courage because I feel like one of the things that I have seen in myself, which is profound to witness, is that I'm happy to go along to get along.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like, oh, if somebody else has got it, then I'll just ride along, right?
Mm-hmm.
and and what I have discovered in my life is that I have found myself in many places that I didn't belong in and that I didn't really want
Mm-hmm.
to be because I was just going along to get along. I didn't have the courage to say no thank you, that's not for me, or I don't believe in that,
Mm-hmm.
or ask a question about it. What
Mm-hmm.
exactly, what do you mean, what do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Explain that. And that has really supported me in understanding um my own, being loyal to myself, and it shows up in really simple ways, like um just an example, like maybe you're craving Indian food and two of your girlfriends call you, like, and they're like, hey, what you doing? You're like, oh, I'm just nothing much, I'm just chilling. And they're like, well, we're getting ready to go have drinks at a Chinese food restaurant, but you really want Indian food. And I know in the past I would just be like, okay, I'll just do that, right? But I didn't honor what I really wanted. Like maybe there was somebody for me to meet at that Indian restaurant that I was gonna go to. Maybe there was something my body was craving, in one of the spices that are in that Indian food, but I didn't listen. So I
Mm-hmm.
went and did this other thing, but I wasn't loyal to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems like nothing. But it is not. It is a real imprint of how we are taught to deny ourselves and care more about belonging and fitting in than we do about our own self honoring.
Yeah. And that's something to explore because it doesn't mean that you don't ever go for Chinese with your friends. You know that when you have a yearning and a calling for something, that it's calling you for a reason. You have a craving for a reason. You have an attraction, a pull for a reason to
Right.
listen to those still quiet voices in us. One
Yeah.
thing Monique and I talked about is how spirit speaks to us. Spirit is not yelling. Spirit is not coming like I'm coming with the rattle. Spirit is subtle. Spirit is just like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I told you, you can listen or, let adversity teach you. But, I told you. Like
Right.
that's how spirit says. So it's and that's where the goddess work comes in of doing that introspection to know the difference, to know when it's okay to just, okay, yeah, Chinese is cool today, or no, I really need to do Indian. I love you guys. I'll catch you next time. So it's
Right.
not about being an asshole and always like, nah, you got to go my way or forget y'all.
Mm-mm.
It's about the deep honoring of where you are and knowing the difference, knowing the difference.
Knowing
I
the
love
difference.
that you said go along to get along. My grandma used to say that all the time. She was like, I invented that. Going along to get along. Like, oh, that's what we're doing. I could do that.
Right.
So we've been trained from the feminine to survive. And often go along to get along was part of those
Was a
survival
survival
mechanisms.
tech. Right.
Yeah. And so if we understand it as such, we know when to utilize it and when it's time to no, I really need to chart a path that's specific to me right now. And
Right.
and and the courage to honor that.
That's right. It's so important. And I feel like it's so important as women because what we don't understand is that we create the patterns.
Mhm.
Women create the pattern. Um, we build the physical body, right? The children are born, they come out of our bodies because we have built the body. And so when we understand that, then we understand how much power that is. And um it's just very important. So anyway, so that's what the astrology is. I wish that I had looked at it more before we got on, to so that I could say more, but I don't want to I don't want to
That's good
distract.
stuff. If
Okay.
they need more, they need to book a reading. Hello.
Yes.
Book a
All
reading
right.
with Monique. Get your natal chart. She can
Right.
tell you about the new moon coming up and the
Yes.
full moon coming up so you could be ready for that because her readings are amazing. I'm telling you, change your life. I'm still listening to my natal chart reading that you gave me in 2018. I'm still listening to that because
Wow.
I'm seeing it unfold like layers of the onion. It's that valuable. It's something that you can always use. So I recommend it highly.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So
Yes.
today we got a good conversation today.
We got a good conversation. So we're talking about challenges to up leveling and as it pertains to relationships. So oftentimes when we think of relationship, we think of romantic partnership or how you're in partnership with another, no matter what your sexuality is, there's a polarity between masculine and feminine energy. And what are those challenges to really up leveling and functioning from your God consciousness, functioning from your God goddess
Mm-hmm.
consciousness with your mate? How do you do that? It's funny because I know when I'm doing it and I know when I'm on some bullshit, like I'm on some bullshit right now. And
Mm-hmm.
in the moment, I can't always stop myself in the moment. Like I just got to
Yes.
go with the bullshit right now because that's
Yes.
what I'm
Yes.
on. And then in the morning, I'll come back and be like, okay,
Right.
I thought it through. I talked to Monique and I vented and I see where the reflection is so that I can
Yes.
come into a higher space. But sometimes when the train is going full steam ahead, it just got to go.
Yeah. I mean that because we have patterns in place. We have karmic
We do.
patterns in place, and you don't undo a karmic pattern without becoming aware of it. Like one of the things that has been coming up for me this week is as I often talk about consciousness, the spirit has been saying to me, consciousness means awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Awareness. Are you aware of what you're doing? Are you
Yes.
aware of your motivation? Are you aware of your why? Are you
Yeah.
aware? And many times we're just not aware.
Just not aware.
We're just not aware, right? So it's as I've been thinking about this awareness thing and there was a time once where not in the last couple of years I was working to heal a pattern that I got from my mother. Like my mother was a soothsayer for men. Like my mother was, everything she had was about men and her ability, her sensual nature and her sexuality, and she cooked and cleaned. Her whole devotion was about men. And that's not who I am, right? But
Mm-hmm.
because I'm from her, I had that in me,
Mm-hmm.
and I would watch it inside of me, and how it was, for lack of a better word, damaging, or how it started to misserve me, was that I would deny my own mindset for what a man believed. Like, so I
Mm-hmm.
would look for affirmation from men, and I would want their approval, and a man came into my life. We were friends. It wasn't a romantic relationship, but when he came in, I watched the pattern come up. I watched myself start cooking and, doing a whole lot of things for him. And I was watching myself do it, and I said something out loud to Spirit about it, and Spirit said, just watch yourself do it. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. So I just kept doing it. I'd be like, I'm cooking salmon and you coming over. And it was really a seduction. What I started to
Mm-hmm.
realize was, oh, this is me seducing him.
Oh,
I'm
with your
seducing.
salmon. Your salmon must be good, girl.
But I
Making
realized that, and
production
then I
salmon.
said, I said to myself out loud was, I actually don't want to seduce him.
Okay.
I was like, I don't, but I realized, oh, this is a pattern. I got this
Mm-hmm.
pattern from my mother. This is my mother's pattern, seduce them with food and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
I was doing it. And so once I caught it, I stopped doing it. And he said to me one day, just in his, how come you stopped cooking? And I heard him and I was like, oh, that was me seducing him, and he was going along with the seduction, and I was seducing him, but I was following a pattern. That was my
You were
mother's
playing a
pattern.
role. You were playing a role.
I was playing
Yeah.
a role.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
so I So I saw it, and then I began to course correct it while I was in
Mhm.
it, and
Mhm.
started to realize, like, this is not who I am. This is my mother.
So what did
So,
you say to him when you had raised his expectation of something yummy from your place, and now he's like, if I feel like it? Like, what did you say?
well, I said to him, what the exact words that I said to him was, sometimes I'm in a phase of cooking, and I do that, and then when I'm out of it, I'm out of it. But I really basically let him know that he was just enjoying what I was doing. And then I
Mhm.
also, because he was an open-minded man, I said to
Mhm.
him, I started saying to him, this is a pattern that I'm in.
Mhm.
And we did a role play one day where
Mhm.
he's an actor, and I was
Mhm.
like, can you do the character of my mother for me? And we
Mm.
we did a role play, and we worked it out. And I swear to
Nice.
God, we're still friends today because of it, because it could have gotten really dark. And
Mhm.
the thing that was simpatico about it was both of us mothers were named Deborah. Like, he had a mother
Mhm.
named Deborah, and I had a mother named Deborah.
Mhm.
His mother died when she was 47, and my mother died when she was 47.
Oh, wow.
So it was a deep karmic pattern
Mhm.
that was being uprooted.
Mhm.
Um, but I had to be really present and aware in it. I had to do the rituals and the practices, and I was as transparent with him as possible.
Nice. That's beautiful. It's beautiful that he was open for that and you created that. You
Yes,
created that opportunity to
yes,
transform that pattern. And so did he. That's
yes,
beautiful. I love
yes.
it.
It was a
Mhm.
really beautiful thing. But the thing is that I'm so aware of as we talk about the challenges in relationships, because I could have looked at that as, oh, he's doing something to me, or oh,
Mhm.
he just trying to take, or oh, he just want
Mhm.
me to be the woman cooking it. But I
Mhm.
literally was like, no, no, this is a pattern. So
Mhm.
use it to grow.
Right.
Use it to grow. Rather than
Mhm.
being in an old story about it,
Mhm.
see if you can see it from a new perspective. And that's why I went into ritual with it, into prayer work with it, so that I could see it clearly. Oh,
Wow.
somebody said my mom was Deborah too. Oh my goodness. What?
All these
What?
moms named
You
Deborah.
had to overcome this. This person said they had to overcome. Girl, that must be a pattern in the code of Deborah.
The code of Deborah.
Well,
Wow. Cracking the code.
everything is coded here.
Yeah.
Everything is,
I love
right?
it.
That must be
I
a
absolutely
pattern,
love it.
because all the names have codes,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Wow.
That's
Woo!
deep. That's
That is
way
really
deep.
deep. That's
Hmm.
deep. That's
Well, I'm
deep.
glad the code of Deborah came up today. We cracked the code, role play with your actor friend, and then change it, whatever that is, shift it. But you got to be aware.
You
You
have to
got to
be
be aware.
aware.
Yeah. And the awareness goes in concentric circles as well. Like what I said when we started talking is that in the moment, sometimes I'm on a train going fast. And if I'm tired or hungry or any of that kind of stuff, then I might not be in my most goddessy rendition of how I'm dealing with the situation. I could
Right.
be in my very, just my animal and my ego. And it takes me a moment. I will get to it, but it takes me a moment to actually look at a situation and see it from all the aspects. But in the moment, I'm just like, this is what I was like. You're on some fuck shit.
Yes. Yes.
It's totally you.
Yes.
And but I know too much to really stand on that square. And I know that about myself. I know that about myself. If it's in front of me, it's in front of me for a reason, especially if it's triggering me. If it's
Yes.
triggering me, I'm calling it for myself, call myself to investigate further what is that trigger about so that I can get the lesson. But
Yes.
in the moment, if little Adina is out, if any of those other things, then I just recognize I might be on some, on some bull. But that could be a challenge. And so just knowing yourself and knowing how you relate and function in a challenge, and then giving yourself grace. It's like, oh yeah, I was really tired. Oh yeah, I was a little hungry, a little grumpy. So okay, but now that I'm fresh, I can look at it in a better perspective. So I would call that a challenge to up leveling, is if you're not physically in an okay place, like in a homeostasis. You might not be in a
Mhm.
position to up level first. You got to take care of some basic human needs to get yourself in a
Yes.
position to up level. Have,
Yes.
what they say, you shouldn't get too sleepy, you shouldn't get too hungry or
Right.
cold or, horny, like any of those
Right.
things. You got to take care of
Yes.
these needs first, the basic needs, so that you can start moving up, 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 up. Your
Yes.
foundation has to be strong.
Yes, I would say that was
Mm-hmm.
yesterday when you and I were having the conversation, and I was rushing, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, you and I were talking, and I wanted to address something, but I was in a rush.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like,
Yeah.
I can't really talk about this right now,
Mm-hmm.
but when I can, I will. But yeah, so we have to be, or we get to be present to our own environment, the
Mm-hmm.
environment of our mind, the environment of our hearts, and the environment of our own bodies, because that's where we have dominion. We don't have dominion over any other place but our own selves.
No.
And
I
go
love
ahead.
to think that, and this might be a stretch for some folks, but as we have these high level conversations, that's what we're called to do, stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind that you're the only one in the world. And this whole game, this whole play is just for you. Everyone is a character playing out a role for you. And
That's
everyone has that exact same perspective happening for them, where they're the only one in the world and we're all playing out roles for them. So if you think of it like that, this is my game, this is my role to play. How am I going to play it?
that's
How am I
right.
going to play it when they all came down here to play with me so that I could get these lessons? Am I going to just sit in the corner like, and like they on some bullshit? Or am I going to walk it out? You're in
Yes.
a human body for a reason. You incarnated this lifetime for a reason. Are you
Yes.
going to do it or not? Are you going to
Yes.
do it? Every
Yes.
relationship, like people say about their baby daddy, well, I just picked wrong. Well, you picked on the vibration you was on,
That's
you know?
right. That's
That was
right.
you was vibing with wrong at that time, was right enough
Right.
to bring life into the world. So that's something to look at deeper. And I don't
Right.
say that disrespectfully at all, just to understand that everyone in your path is in your path because you brought them there.
That's
That's how
right.
we create our lives.
That's right. It is, and that is the most important thing for us to really learn as women. Like we've been given a lot of narratives that make us characters in somebody else's show,
Mm-hmm.
and that we are not the main characters in our own lives.
Mm-hmm.
But we are the main characters in our own lives. Even if
Yeah.
we believe that we're not, we are the main characters in our own lives. And we choose the co stars, we
Yeah.
choose the supporting characters. And most of the time, we're choosing them unconsciously. And
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things that's very important about this understanding this reality is that the earth realm is a duality. It needs light and shadow in order to function. And if we don't understand that duality is a part of it, because what happens is this has happened so many times to me. It got to a point in my life where this was happening so much that I just stopped it. I just put a fucking halt on it. Like I would meet somebody and be like, "Oh, he's the love of my life," right? Like I probably fell in love 100 times before I was 20 years old because I'm a
Nice.
Pisces rising, and so that
Mm-hmm.
is a thing. And what I had to really realize was um that I'm creating the reality, that so when I fall in love with somebody because of how wonderful they are, because this is a reality of duality, you're you're going to see the wonderfulness and then you're going to see the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
That is how it is.
Mm-hmm. In you and outside of you.
That's
So,
right.
we can't even act like, oh, I'm all this and they're not. It's like, no, we're all of it. We all are all of it.
That's right.
So
And the
where's
people
the
in our
grace?
lives are mirroring to us the
Yes.
aspects of ourselves that we cannot and don't do not see. So
Right.
when you fall in love and then 3 months later now, oh, this is happening, that is a part of the choice.
Mm-hmm.
That is a part of the choice that gives you the opportunity to choose. Now, will I grow? Or am I just going to be stuck in the old pattern? Am I going to
Yes.
blame them? Am I going to make them wrong? Am I going to be like, am I going to now doubt myself? Oh, I did something wrong. Or am I going to rise to the occasion and ask,
Hmm.
what is being asked of me here?
Yeah. And I will say, Monique, that's not always easy. Like when you're
It's
in
never
some shit,
easy.
yeah, and you look up and you're like, oh my God, like it's a mess. It's really a mess. All you got to do is just, again, take one step at a time. You don't have to jump the whole staircase. Do one thing. Figure out what that one thing is and start there. But it can feel incredibly, and I'm speaking for myself, overwhelming when you look up and like, oh, this is not and you realize you're not where you thought you wanted to be, but that's what you created. So evidently it's something there for you. So still work it out. Now, if you trash it all and then have to start again, you like sliding down the slide, back to square one and still have
That's
to
right.
get those lessons somewhere else. If you don't get the lesson there, you create it in a whole nother scenario. So that's the important part of getting the lesson of these relationships so that
That's
you
right.
vibrate better.
That's right. Because when you walk away from the lesson without learning it,
Hmm.
you've just delayed it for your
That's all.
next experience.
That's all. And especially if you walk away and you're still in emotion about it. Like if you walk away healed and you have
Yes,
the lesson,
that's
then
right.
you're good. You're whole and complete. But if you walk away and then they're still on the fuck shit and there it is and there that, like you just
Right.
gonna create again. And see, that's when sisters will look at folks and be like, well, all the brothers on some bullshit. It's like, no, the common denominator really, really, really is you, you know?
Right.
It's you. And it's hard to say, and it's hard to see when you see your
Yes,
sisters hurting and they're really not necessarily open yet to, doing this work that we do in Goddess technology. So
that's
then you're
right.
in a never ending loop of the same shit. The
That's
same
right. And
shit that your mama did, your grandmama did, and that
that's
kind of thing.
right.
It's like, let's stop.
And that's why community is so important. It has been through my community, through my devotion to myself, which is I my intention is to transform and heal and become the best version of myself before I take my last breath on this planet. Now, what do I need to do to make that be the experience? One of the things that I needed to do is surround myself with other women who have a similar mission, who have a
Ashe.
similar goal.
Mhm.
Because one of the things that I've discovered is as women, and like I love it, but it's also challenging, and it's because we're so clannish, and that's the nature of womanhood. We are clannish. Relationships matter to us, but who you are in relationship with as girlfriends matters
Mhm.
almost more than the man that you're with.
Yeah.
Because if you are with women who are vampiric, draining, who are not taking responsibility for themselves, women, girl, he did such and such and such, and he did what, and he did. That is not going to heal you.
Elevation. Yeah,
It's
I
not.
can't listen. I can't listen. Like I turn my ear off. I'm like, what?
Right. Right.
Don't
But there
call
was a
me for that.
time when I used to be like, what did he do? Girl, he did what?
Hmm.
Oh my
Hmm.
God. Da, da, da. But now I'm like, mm-mm.
Hmm.
Because you created that. Now the question is, okay, well, if he's doing
Why?
such and such and such, why did you create that? Why are you telling this story? What lesson do you want to learn from this?
Hmm.
What is your soul calling you for? So it really matters who you're surrounded by.
Yes. 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 That's everything.
It's everything. That's right.
Hmm. Everything.
Um, and that has been one of my greatest lessons that I've had to learn because I like everybody.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
I love
like
you too.
everybody.
I love you too, but I can't. It's gonna be. Are you gonna be close, or are you gonna be a
Right,
little further out? Like
right,
if your vibration is not such that we're on this goddess continuum, then you got to be a little further out. I'm still
right.
love you, and
That's
I'm
right.
sending vibration there. But the ones that are close to me are on the path that we're talking about, being the best version of ourselves before we leave this planet, so that the next iteration be even better.
Right.
We've healed for our family line front and back, for our grandmothers, for our
That's right.
mothers. We
That's right.
changed it for our children.
Mm-hmm.
So these are barriers to up leveling. And what we do in community is being those folks on the inside so that
Mm-hmm.
we hold each other to a standard and
Yeah.
raise the vibration together. That's
That's
what
right.
we do.
That's right. That's right. And the standard is so beautiful because the standard is I am the goddess. You are the goddess, right? So what would the divine do in this experience? Oh, you
Mhm.
going through something, your man cheated on you, blah, blah, blah. What would God do here? What would a
Mhm.
goddess do in this?
Goddess
Right?
says all is well. There is no cheating on. Everything is
Right.
everything. Like what? I know we ain't been taught that, but
Right.
that's what the goddess say.
And you're gonna feel the pain, right? We're gonna create the
Mhm.
space for you to feel. Oh, this hurts. Oh, this is
Mhm.
tender. Oh, this makes me sad. Oh, this okay, what's that feel like? So how are we
Mhm.
gonna move to that? We're gonna dance. Okay, we're gonna
Mhm.
dance with it. We're
Mhm.
gonna do a ritual. We're gonna
We're
do
gonna scream, we're gonna cry, and we're gonna
right,
live.
right. But we're gonna heal. We're not here to
Mhm.
make a villain out of
Mhm.
you or somebody else. We have
Mhm.
practices that
Yes.
allow us to move, and by taking responsibility for
Mhm.
ourselves, our
Yes.
choices. Like I chose this man. If I chose this man, then whatever's going on is something that I chose to learn.
So learn it. Come on.
Right?
Learn.
That is right. So
Mhm.
it's a real powerful thing to allow your challenges to grow you. It's a
Mhm.
and it's a choice. It is not something you don't have to choose this. You don't have to choose this
No.
path. You don't have
No.
to choose the path of allowing your challenges to grow you. No one. And there are things that I do in my life that I've done that I've been like, I chose that because I needed that. Like one of them
Mhm.
was I used to run marathons. I ran marathons because I needed to do that. I would never tell anybody else to do that because it's so challenging.
Mhm.
But when people really want to challenge themselves and they really want to push themselves past their old ways of being, you got to do something that gets you out of your comfort zone. And the Goddess Gathering is a work where we come together to get you out of your comfort zone so that
Yes.
you can grow.
Yes. The choice, like you said, is everything. It's one thing to bop through life unconscious and just following the script that someone else has given us.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing to choose to love and to choose to endure and to choose to grow. These are choices and their power, innate power when you decide for yourself, oh, I'm doing this. Oh,
Yes.
I am a goddess and I'm tapping into my goddess energy in this lifetime. These are
Yes.
choices, and that means that I'm committing to doing some things. I'm committing to how I'm going to be in my disagreements, that I'm going to learn from those.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Yes.
I'm raising my vibration now. And
Yes.
it does help, like we just said, to be in community because everything just about that's not in the choice, everything that's in the quote unquote mainstream is bopping in a different vibration, in a different direction, in a different current. So we
Yes.
chose to get out of that. Like, nah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
good. Dry
Right.
off
Right.
and decide how we're going forward.
That's
That
right.
is the work we're doing.
That's right. And
Hmm.
it feels like for me, it took me a while to choose it because I thought there was something wrong with me that I wasn't doing it right. It didn't work
Hmm.
for me,
Hmm.
right? Everybody's different. And when I found out through my natal chart what actually suits me, and now I can align to that. And now I'm in processes with other women like yourself and other girlfriends where we really are on this path towards healing and magic and love and joy and being a blessing to our families, like really being the one to change the patterns in the family for our mothers, our grandmothers, our children, and our aunties and cousins and uncles and all of it, right? Like really changing it. And if somebody would have said this to me when I was in my 20s, I probably would have thought it was impossible, but it's so simple is what I have discovered. A couple of months ago, one of my uncles, I have an uncle who has been in and out of jail all my life, it seems like. And in my family, we would always be like, "Oh, he's in college right now." We would, because he'd be going away. We'd be like, "He went to
That is
college.
college.
He went back to college. He went back to college, right?"
Love it.
So
Creative storytelling. Yes.
right. So he got back out of college. He's out of college again, and he's in his 60s now. And it's been 30 years. And I was like, how can I really connect to him in a way that is soulful and healing and loving? And so one of the things he's doing now is he paints. He paints people's. So I was like, come in and paint. Come paint my bathroom and come paint. And when he would come and paint, I would do Oshun rituals with
Mm.
oranges and strawberries. Like, he doesn't know what I'm doing. But by the
Mm-hmm.
end of the ritual, I would give him a big, fresh squeezed glass of orange juice and strawberry juice that I had prayed for, did Oshun rituals to love him so that he would feel good. Do you know that this man will be knocking on my door? I'll be like, what's going on? It's my uncle.
I'm coming to paint something else. I'm coming for this message that you got in here,
I'm
niece.
trying to say something else. And then after he be like, "You got any more of that juice?" I'm like, "Yes, I
Yes.
got some juice." And I just
Yes. That's
go in
beautiful.
and put 7 or 8 oranges in there and 20 strawberries and make him a
Mm-hmm.
big, and he'd be on his way, because that was the way that I was healing him and loving
Mm-hmm.
him, because
Mm-hmm.
that's in my family pattern. And so I didn't know that the work was like that. I thought the
Mm-hmm.
work was, oh, I didn't know what it was, right? But it's simple, is what I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
say. It's
Mm-hmm.
simple.
Yes.
It's like, I didn't have to say to him, you did this and you did that.
Mm-hmm.
All I had to do is change my own mind, transform, heal it inside of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he shows up, be a different person with him. And then it heals it in him too. And so,
Ritualizing your practice with him, he felt that. And that is
yes,
so beautiful. That's so
yes.
beautiful.
So we invite you guys tonight. We have the Goddess Gathering.
We do. We do. The links are in both of our bios. We do this every Thursday. We
Yeah.
meet with powerful women from all over the world. And by powerful women, we mean you.
Yes.
Everyone listening to
Yes.
this right now, it's not like you got to do anything to be ready for this. All you got to do is open your heart and say, I am ready to access my goddess consciousness,
Yes.
and come on in. Come on in. So we meet, we do the work, we do the practices, we heal, we look at our shiggity, we own it, we up level it, and we ritualize our everyday practice so that we are flowing and glowing in ways that even we didn't know that we could. We didn't
Yes.
know. Everywhere we go, people feel our energy. Everywhere we go,
Yes.
we
Yes.
raise the vibration up and down our street. When we go into the gas station or wherever you go, the vibration is raised because the
Yes.
goddess had dawned this place. So we
Yes.
are lifting light here on the planet today.
Yes.
Today.
And
Mhm.
there's nothing as valuable, there's nothing as worthy, there's nothing as amazing as women who wake up to their true nature as the goddess. There's
Mhm.
nothing as it. I mean, we've been taught all these things about the Buddha and Jesus and all these men, and I love it.
And
I
it's you. It's
thank you.
you.
But the work is you. The work is you.
Mhm.
That's right. So
It's like,
what you
where
need
is
to do is
Waldo?
believe
It's
in
not none of them
yourself.
places.
That's
It's not
right.
none of them places. It's right
No,
here.
it's in
Mhm.
you.
Right
It's in you.
here.
That's right.
Hmm.
So we get together tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hmm.
Adina is a beautiful facilitator. She is
Thank
she
you.
is like, the way she teaches this work is so profound. I love it, and I'm just really grateful. So we invite you guys to join us. We meet every Thursday. It's
Mhm.
$77 a month, but what we do, we meet for an hour, and everything is recorded. So if you can't come, it's all recorded, and we are also in the process of planning retreats and things. So
Mhm.
welcome everyone. Come join
You're
us.
welcome.
And thank you, Adina, for being here today with me.
Oh, thank you as well. And like Monique said, planning retreats. We have released information about our first retreat, which is going to be in Bali in July of 2024. So if you're interested in that, the spaces are already booking up. Hit my what is it, Linktree as well, because there are links for the Goddess Technology Retreat in Bali in July of 2024. With that, thank you. We love you. Let's do this work, y'all.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
See
All righty.
you later. Thanks,
Bye.
Adina. Bye bye.
Thank you.